Hey everyone, so I made a video on the 5 laws of exponents, and today I thought we'd be looking at the 5 laws of radicals. Let's begin with the first rule. It says that if a is raised to the power of m, and then we take root m, it'll just be equal to a. I can show you this with an example where I represent the roots using powers. So let's say that we have 3 raised to the power of 2, and then I take root 2, right? Now, this can be written as 3 raised to the power of 2 raised to the power of 1 over 2, because a power of 1 over 2 is the same thing as root 2 or the square root. When I apply the power of power rule from our exponents laws, I know that I can multiply these powers together and I'm left with 3 raised to the power of 2 over 2. That's equal to 3 raised to the power of 1, which is equal to itself. We had 3 raised to a power of 2, and then we took root 2, and eventually we're left with 3. Now the second rule suggests that if I have a raised to the power of m, and then I take root n, I can also first take root n, and then raise it to the power of m. Here we have 3 raised to the power of 2, and then we take root 6. This can be written as 3 raised to the power of 2 raised to the power of 1 over 6. Now, this can also be written as 3 raised to the power of 1 over 6 raised to the power of 2, because we're using the power of power rule, remember? We multiply the two powers. It doesn't matter if I have 2 on the right side or the left side, because the order doesn't matter when you're multiplying two things. So I can rewrite this as this. So as you can see, the order that you take the root or you raise it to a power does not matter. The third rule states that if I have m that takes the root of root n of a, I can just multiply these two roots. So let's show you this with an example of 3, and I'm taking root 6, and then I'm also taking root 2 of that. Well, I can rewrite this as 3 raised to the power of 1 over 6 raised to the power of 1 over 2. Now this, when we apply the power of power rule, is equal to 3 raised to the power of 1 over 12, and I can now convert this back into a root and show you that we ended up with the two roots being multiplied with each other, and we're left with 3 root 12 instead. Okay, the fourth rule says that if I'm taking the root of a multiplied by b, then I can first take the root of a and then multiply it by the root of b. So here I have the square root of 3 times 5. This is equal to 3 multiplied by 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2. Now let's apply the exponent for each of the factors inside the brackets. So I'm left with 3 raised to the power of 1 over 2 multiplied by 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2, which is exactly what we would have got if we applied the rule. Okay, we have the root of quotient, same idea. This time we're just dividing the bases. So here I have 3 divided by 5, and I'm taking the square root. So this is the same thing as 3 divided by 5 raised to the power of 1 over 2. And I can apply 1 over 2, the power of 1 over 2, to both of the bases, and I'll be left with the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 5. Alright guys, those are the 5 fundamental laws of radicals. Hope this video was helpful, and don't forget to watch more if you need more math help.